Louder, a little better.
Yeah, couldn't hear you hardly.
He's got a preacher's voice.
You couldn't hear her? Yeah. He was, Desi, thank you, Desi. Oh,
Okay, you're good.
oh, man, that stinks. Anyways,
Oh, you need a tissue.
Alden Francis Rosbrook,
Got a tissue.
I took out his first name, Alden.
Come on, Mark.
My dad had a big heart. He was passionate. Oh, it's going to be hard to get through this.
That's okay.
It's okay,
We all know it.
Passionate man, businessman, hardworking, great skilled handyman, the best father, husband, mentor, teacher, family could ask for.
Slow down.
Gotta breathe.
He found time to
There
give
you
back
go.
to the community in his spare time, not only in Scottsdale, where our family moved to from upstate New York, where we traveled in 1969, a family of 6 in a VW van, and my parents then opened a daycare in Scottsdale, where we basically laid our roots, but also here in Queen Creek, where my parents made their home for 30 plus years. He made his dream come true living on what he named Santana Ranch. He owned horses and rode them around on a Santana.
Well, he fell off a lot, too.
Yeah, Santana was not a very well-trained horse. And he rode him around the Santana mountain range. It was his lifelong dream to move out west, and I believe since he was a younger man, he made it to be a cowboy rancher here happen. So,
How much was that helicopter ride again to the hospital when he fell off and hit his head, Mom? I think it was $10,000.
so he also made Queen Creek a better, cleaner place to live for community and volunteered his time. Assisted the town council to clean up the trash, debris, and bigger items that the public used as a dump. The rest of the family helped out and volunteered in our spare time. That was years ago. Roadside cleanup and etc. over the years. He was a Marine, tough as nails. Never played. He left behind a lot of nice memories. He always was fun to be around. He will never be forgotten. The thoughts and prayers go out with you. Well, our proud family, Rosbrooks and Castillos. That's all.
Very good, Mark.
Desi, you're going to have to do this. Or Kevin, or you're going to have to do that blessing.
Oh, Carol.
It's an Irish blessing.
Oh, the Irish
Blessing. So,
Go ahead, Carrie.
do you want the mic?
I'm gonna give it to, I'm not the next in line.
Oh, you're not? You're the second oldest. Oh, Matt is.
You want me to read this? Okay. May the road rise to meet you, and the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm on your face, and the rains fall softly on the desert. And until we meet again, may God hold you gently in the palm of his hands. Amen.
Ah, that's very nice.
Matt?
Forgive us for being on the outside here. My wife's high risk, so we have to
For
be
COVID.
extra careful. I inherited my dad's sentimental and emotional state. Therefore, I know I won't get through my tribute to him, so I'm going to have my wife read it.
I am Roz's daughter-in-law and Matt's wife, and our two sons, Mitchell and Brandon, oldest being Brandon. I'm just going to start really quick and just say, too, that Roz, he was like my dad. I met him when I was 16, and he was my second dad. There's no doubt about it, and he's really missed. We had so many good times. In fact, we didn't know the funeral had started, and Cindy and Matthew and the two boys and I were around the corner telling about great things. Every time we come up here, it was a party. You know, it was a great party. It was a lot of fun. The memories will stay with us forever. You know, Roz was always the funniest guy in the room. But I wanted to share Matt's story. Just tell my dad. He did just not talk about the right way to do things. He did the right things and taught us by example. He is a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. He was proud of that, and so are we. So the first examples set were honor, courage, and commitment. You should know that he was not only our dad, but also our stand-in dad for others, like neighborhood kids, daughter-in-laws, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. My dad was a dad who gathered and played in sporting events with neighborhood kids and taught all the kids the rules of the game, sportsmanship, and most of all, how to have fun. He led by example. When we went camping, he cleaned, with our help, the campground better than we found it. He was considerate of other campers by turning down the music and leaving firewood for the next family that might arrive after dark so they too could have a fire. He led by example when he volunteered to help others, the community, and the church. One of the best examples he set was how to be a good husband. My two brothers and I are proof of that. He set the bar very, very high by the examples he set. He still shows me through those examples what it's like to be a better dad. I try hard each day to adhere to the example he set, but I feel I will never come close to all the things he accomplished or match the examples he set during his long and happy life. My dad will always live through us through his examples and he set for us to follow. When I say this, I mean all the people that knew him. Rest in peace, Roz. We love you.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, am I supposed to swear?
Wait.
That's my baby daughter, Linda, over there. She,
Keep it down, Linda.
Gotta stay safe.
Come over
It's
there.
been impounded.
Where's the
with
Linda
brain.
stick? Where is the Linda stick?
It was in the car. It was,
Oh.
Dad was riding with us in the back seat there. All right. I'm hoping I can read this. Okay. Alden Francis Rosbrook Fitzsimmons. I like how the Puerto Rican culture always includes the mother's maiden name when a child is born and throughout their lives. My dad spent a lot of time researching his ancestry and was truly passionate about it. Even though it is easier being a Castillo living in Puerto Rico. I'm gonna take this off
Yeah, there you go.
because I'm like sounds like I'm mumbling.
You're so attractive. You should always have it on.
I don't know, I got tears in my eyes. Anyway, even though it is easier being a Castillo living in Puerto Rico, I am proud to be a Rosbrook Ransford. I am equally proud that my daughters are Castillo Rosbrooks. I am also sure that my dad was proud of being a Rosbrook Fitzsimmons. A person's accomplishments are one way to define a life. However, I think that one's characteristics, traits, and qualities are even more important. Like my dad being first and foremost a hardworking father and family man. He was also an animated storyteller and speaker, a comic, a merrymaker, and a prankster. All of these well-known traits are why he wanted an Irish wake. If you Google it, an Irish wake is depicted in many ways, but here is the one description I like best for today's special occasion. The Irish wake is much like a funeral. However, people in Ireland believe that it is a cause for celebration, and that's why we're here. In the modern times, they celebrate the life of the deceased person, giving the guests a day to remember and to cherish every time the deceased crosses their minds. On the other hand, people in the ancient times celebrated during death too. They had the notion that it was the third birthday. How was that? Well, the first birthday was the time when you were born. The second one was during the baptism, wherein your soul was newly born as a child of God. And finally, the third birthday was entering the afterlife. So it is kind of nice that today we will not only be celebrating Alden entering the afterlife, but also my mom's 82nd birthday. You can be sure that later on we will be singing happy birthday to the love of his life, Caroline. And I'm sure that Roz and Lisa will be singing along with us. Dad was also an intelligent manager, coach, counselor, and cheerleader. He was kind and helpful, respectful, responsible. His compliments to others brought countless smiles from friends and strangers alike. He was compassionate, a good listener, and often a confidant. A lifelong history buff, nature enthusiast, animal lover. He was extremely fond of music and told me many a time how he dreamed of being the owner of a karaoke bar. But what stands out most in my mind is that My dad was an adventurer. Lots of my fondest memories are adventures we had together that turned into mishaps, as I'm sure many of you are aware. This spirit of adventure is what brought our family of 6 out here to Arizona, as Mark was saying. It is the same spirit of adventure that he passed on to me that led me to Puerto Rico. Despite living nearly 3,000 miles away for the last 40 years, me, my husband Jimmy, and our 4 daughters managed to share many wonderful and memorable times with my dad and the whole family here. Vacations, ski trips, and get-togethers. Thousands of phone conversations, hundreds of cards, letters, and later emails always kept us close. I have come to realize that in many ways my fabulous husband Jimmy is a lot like my dad. The numerous comparisons have made me realize that I picked the right spouse. The fact that besides my dad being like a father to him, Jimmy and Roz were basically best friends as well. This has been a divine bonus in our marriage. Being pranked by my dad and our subsequent paybacks are very much cherished as well. I could go on and on about all his good qualities, but okay, nobody is perfect. So, here are a few of his shortcomings. An exaggerator, admitted procrastinator, and nail biter. He was quite the flirt, right, ladies? And as many of you know, he had Flintstone feet. Oftentimes emotional, he had struggles with his weight and also his finances. He was no Scrooge, even though he joked that he was, but more so overly generous without the means. He had a short temper, especially if he was on a diet.
Caffeine.
A tendency to yell when angry or excited, also especially if he was on a diet. You know that new word, hangry? The combination of being hungry and angry at the same time? I am most certain it was inspired by him. I know a lot of us here have caught him sneaking a Snicker bar, some ice cream from the freezer, or some other sweet treat that he was not supposed to. And boy, would his face turn red. I am sure he had many other faults and I'm not mentioning here, but what it really comes down to is this. My dad was just a really good person. And good people tend to rub off on all the others around them. My mom shares a lot of the previously mentioned qualities, especially that of cheerleader and a tendency to yell. Of course, Mom, you have your own special aspects that in many ways complemented Dad's. I guess that is why you had so many good years together. I am a unique combination of both him and you, like your dancing skills, combined with Dad's Flintstone feet. Mark, Matt, Kevin, guess what? But you already know it. You are all good men because of him and our mom, right? You all chose special and awesome wives to complement and enhance the impressive men that you are. Alden's children, grandchildren, and his great children are basically kind-hearted and good. This all comes back to these modern-day pioneers that were our parents. Together they established this ever-expanding, beautiful, loving, caring family that enjoys being together and having fun. This wonderful group of people, in my opinion, are my dad's and mom's best accomplishment in life, and something he was and ever will be proud of. Thanks, Dad. We will all be missing you till we see you again in heaven. Thanks so much to Diane and the Perrys and Spencer, especially for making Roz's last wishes a reality here, nearby their beloved Rancho Santana.
All right, she's done. Oh, perfect. Yeah, wait to hear mine.
Okay.
Forget about it.
I need something to drink though. Mark,
Water, Kevin.
Lisa, you know
Mark,
the
give me some
mailbox
water,
is
would you
still
please?
up? And sells the Rancho
Hustle it up.
Santana.
Really? Okay.
Oh my gosh, you got me on that
better
one.
pipe down. I'm telling you, I better turn this down. I'm very loud. Very loud.
Lisa,
He never
Okay.
yells.
Lisa.
All right, first and foremost,
Lisa, like under Lisa.
I wanted to thank God
Oh my God.
for giving my dad 83 years. Obviously, we don't all make it to 83, do we? Lyle.
I'll go long before you, bro.
55 years with me. I'm the baby. Sorry, hold on.
You want me to hold you?
No, I can get it. Desi can do it. I can do it. All right. Well, I was gonna tell a bunch of stories, but I'm gonna start off with I'm the baby of 4, so I got a different version of Dad. I like to say I got the tired version of Dad. He was tired of spanking Matt and Mark. So when it came down, well, then Kara was born, and Kara obviously is going to be the princess, and she's the favorite. We all know it. She has the biggest picture. It's bigger than that picture. And it's bigger than my grandmother's picture. I think it's poster size, but we're boys. We were okay with it. She can be the princess. And then I was thinking, Mom finally got her girl. And then they had me, so I'm wondering if I was a mistake. Mom, you can tell me now if it's okay. No? You planned it? You gotta be nuts to
She
have
said
4
no.
kids. I have 5. I'll tell this one, it's another funny one. In 1965, when I was born, breastfeeding wasn't very popular, so none of us were breastfed. So, breastfeeding was frowned upon, so my mom didn't nurse us. So my dad stepped in and he nursed us.
Jeez.
Linda got that one good. All right, I'm going to move on to my funny stories. And I wanted to concentrate when we were kids, because you all knew him for the last 30 years. We knew him before that for a while. When I was a little boy, I thought there was a monster in my closet. I'd watched a scary movie I probably shouldn't have, but I was scared to death. So I'm sure my dad, in our house, the master, and we lived in that house until we all grew up. For how many years was that? 20 years? 15, 20 years, something like that. So we all grew up in the townhouse. So all the bedrooms were upstairs, and the master bedroom was downstairs. So my dad probably got tired of going up and down the stairs. So I thought there was a monster in my closet. So my dad brought up his .30-30 rifle after nothing else would help. And I fell right to sleep. And I was never afraid of monsters again. But I did get in trouble when I brought the .30-30 to school to settle a dispute.
Oh, Lord.
And my 3rd grade teacher was very upset. And like my dad, I'm not going to tell you that's a joke or not. My dad apparently had worn out his spanking hand on Mark and Matt, and Kara never got it. So Kara and I never got spanked. Well, sometime. So after I got caught, still a little boy, after I got caught writing the bad word, we all know what the bad word is. I actually wrote it on this is another thing about my parents, is that I was using a wood burning kit. I was probably like 6 or 7. Anyhow, my dad found it, or somebody found it, probably one of my brothers found it, showed Mom, and then Mom said, you know how when you get in trouble and your mom says, wait till your dad gets home.
Exactly.
And then you're scared to death. So I wasn't too excited about it, so I grabbed a pie pan and I put it down my pants. And my dad was about to come home, and I waited up in my room, so my dad came up to spank me, and I was ready. I come over, and he puts me on his lap, and he goes to hit me, and he just starts laughing, because he thought that was pretty funny. I still got one swat, though, but I didn't get the 20 that you imagine you're going to get. It's always worse than what you imagine. So then, this is another story when I was a young boy, and I think I must have been at least 10 years old. So this goes back to my dad being a prankster. So he was, hey, Kevin, I need you to ride your bike up to the store and get some cleaning solution for me. Okay, I'm a young boy. I'm gonna please my dad. I'm gonna go up there and get this. So I ride my bike up to Bash's. It's probably a mile or two away, or a mile away. Up and back, I bring the bottle back to him and I handed it to him, and he pretends to smell it and says, "This is bad." What? And he hands it to me and take a whiff of that. And so I take a big old sniff of it. It was ammonia. That was my introduction to being pranked by my father.
That was a long prank.
I don't know how he thought of that one. I mean, who sits around thinking, I'm gonna punk my little son here? Let me see. He probably did it to somebody else. He got into this vicious circle of pranks with a guy that he started this business with, Stepping Stones. It was a learning company. They sold, it was like a Montessori. I went to Montessori, so it was kind of a Montessori, kind of a toy store. It didn't work out. But they got into this prank thing, and I mean, it got out of hand. The last prank that happened was an exploding toilet. And then, yeah, he told me the story. He said we were going to kill each other. It started with like a bucket of water on a door, and it fell on us. Then it was boxes, and then it got into the exploding toilet. And they decided to call it quits after that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I never heard that one.
And that's why I never
Not
liked
for sure.
to
I've
He
never
left
heard
that
of
out
go
of
to
the book.
Montessori.
Mark mentioned this. My dad was a DIY-er, and I ended up working at Home Depot for almost 7 years. And he always had little projects going on. I remember he built me this, because I was the youngest, I was the most spoiled, besides Kara. I mean, that was just another level of spoiled. But I was spoiled. And he built me this whole thing out of particle board. It was a little too heavy, but it was for my train set in it, and it was like a Murphy bed. And it came down off the wall, and I had this whole thing to play with my trains. That was my dad. He did whatever it took. Always had projects going on. He always took us to work too. He worked a lot, and he always worked on Saturdays. And he would say, "Do you want to go to work with me?" And we all go, "No." And he'd say, "Yeah, you're going." All right, I want to thank my mom and dad for helping Lisa and I purchase our first property, which was next to Susie and Desi's property, which is probably only a quarter of a mile. It seems like it was farther than that, but it was probably only about a half a mile, a quarter mile, something like that.
It couldn't even be that long.
Yeah, maybe not even that. So we used to, bring the kids up here, and thank you very much for babysitting my children as much as you did, and just being there for us. And yeah, they bought that property, and then decided to buy the house up the street. So we took over the payments on that property, and we wouldn't have been able to do that. But thank you. Yeah, thank you for being our babysitters for 50 years. I think I graduated. I exaggerated. I get that from my dad, yes. Oh, okay. I'll tell one more little story here and then we'll get going here. One of my dad's fathering techniques, and they didn't always work, was he didn't want us to smoke.
Oh.
So he decided to have us smoke cigars, or maybe it was just Matt and Mark, and he got the grossest cigars he could find.
It was all of us.
It was all of us, yeah. But Kara and I, we started a lot of things very.
You were 8 years old.
Yeah, we started drinking very young. So he thought, hey, I'll give them cigars and they'll never want to smoke again. Well, it didn't quite work out that way, because I think Kara doesn't smoke, but she'll smoke a cigar maybe. But Mark ended up smoking cigarettes for 20 years or something. And Matt and I will smoke a cigar, but it didn't work. It just, those kind of things don't always work.
No, he made you smoke until you puked, and it only worked on the younger kids, and it didn't work on Mark. Mark the whole time was smoking. He's like, "This is pretty good. It's nice."
But he also gave Matt and Mark alcohol, and he put
a garbage can next to each of our beds, expecting everybody to throw up. But it didn't work.
Oh, okay, here we go. There's a few things my dad would always say. Results are all that matters. What's the rest of it? All the rest is BS. Everything else is BS, is what he would always say. That and, I want to say it right. This is Nuck and Futz.
Oh, okay.
And there was one more, but I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Okay, Mom, do you want me to sing your song right now? Okay. It's my mom's birthday.
You've been practicing this a long time, so we better do it.
Oh, God, no pressure.
I got it.
Better do it right. Or what, Mom?
Here's a
You
paperweight.
got the
Yeah,
coat
put it in
stick?
there.
I'll have to give him a spank.
You have to give him a spanking? Okay.
Turn this down. There's a story behind this song. I don't know if I want to tell it before I sing. Let me sing it first. No, I'll tell you. This song I found on Amazon Music. I like to listen to new music on Amazon, and if it catches my ear, then I save it. But it's not a very popular song. But oh, I don't even need this. It's a not very popular song, so I wanted the lyrics to it, so I Googled the lyrics, but there was no lyrics, so I wrote them down. I had them written down on this piece of paper right here. So 4th of July, when my mom was over visiting, she saw this sitting on the table, and she was over there looking at it. I didn't notice, and then she goes, "Hey, what's this song right here?" And I go, "Well, it's a song I found on Amazon." She goes, "I like this song." And I said, "Okay." So that's that part of the story. So I lost this piece of paper. So I'm like, well, I wonder where this piece of paper is. So a couple nights ago, I was wondering what song I should sing, and I knew that she loved this song, but so I was out front and I said a prayer. I said, "God, is this the song I'm supposed to sing, or what song am I supposed to sing? Can you help me out here?" And usually, if you pray a lot, that you forget what you prayed it, and then you move on, right? You're going about your day or whatever. So I was looking through some papers, and I had written down a bunch of stuff a while ago. Some of these stories I just told months ago, and I'm looking for them, and I find this paper. So then, that's not the end of the story. Just happened to find it. I'm like, oh, there it is. Wow, that's a coincidence. Then, day before yesterday, I had the song on Amazon. I don't have Amazon anymore, so I couldn't listen to it, so I wanted to listen to it again. So I did a search on Google, and her name came up. It's a young girl. She's 15 years old that wrote this song, and it was on YouTube, but I didn't know she died. She died. She was killed by a drunk driver when she was 15, and the song was. See, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to sing the story.
I didn't want to say the story. So the song was released after she died, and these kind of things happen a lot. And I think it means something that my mom saw it sitting there, and she liked it. What I'm saying is that kind of stuff comes from heaven, because we have a couple of people that are well known to us up there, and I think they both helped us out on that, Mom. Wait, is there a happy ending?
Supposed to be a song there somewhere. And so there was a song.
There need a drum roll.
No, I don't know. All right, here we go. Oh, these pieces are left on the ground. You pick me up, no, you won't let me down. I try running to things of the earth. You say, child, come back to me. And you whisper to me, I am the great I am your peace. I am the one who put you back on your feet. I am creator, I will sustain. I am the one who calls you by name. God, your grace has saved me from death. You have given eternal life instead. When the enemy prowls like a lion, I will recall all that you have said. I am the great I am your peace. I am the one who put you back on your feet. I am creator, I will sustain. I am the one who calls you by name.
Happy birthday, Caroline.
Thank you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caroline. Happy birthday to you.
Hey!
Big red. Big red. All right, Lana, come on up here. Your turn to sing.
Kevin, is there any way you can do Pandora there, the Gypsy King? Gypsy King in this story?
More songs, or you guys have any friends that like to
Yeah, would anyone else like to say something? Hello? Kenneth? Kenneth, did you want to say something? No?
Tom
She wanted
Lang,
to
I
say
see you
hello.
in the back. Tom, come on up.
Does everybody know the chicken egg story? I think we do. I think we all have so much to say that we'd be here till midnight if we were to talk about him.
Didn't realize that, so even though he sent me stuff in the mail, that was the weirdest names ever. So one time I had sent him with those diapers for people, older people, pens, and I put the name on it, Alden P. Freelich. And the mailman used to, I swear, he would laugh. And we would send so much mail back to each other with jokes like that, that Caroline would get upset with me, telling me to quit sending the mail because I would send them, my wife works for a chemistry lab, so these books would be that thick. So I would fill their mailbox up, but the best joke I ever got him on was he wanted to go bowling with me and my wife and Carol, and at that time I had a CD in my truck and a little walkie-talkie that I was having on the kid. So I told Val, my wife, to call me when they pulled up. I went to Circle K, and at that time Carol and Roz had bought chickens. And I said, I'm going to pull a joke on him, he's not going to realize what's going on. He didn't care. But at that time, underneath everywhere those chickens that were very young, didn't lay eggs yet, they very small eggs for the first time. I had bought 3 large chickens, and when they came out to the house, I went up there and put these eggs underneath the chicken. So the next day, Roz goes, oh, you wouldn't believe the chickens are lazy. Big eggs. Stuff is huge. I go, really? So,
Well, he was telling everybody. I mean, I think he sent out emails.
That was a great one, though.
Bragged about it.
That was a great one.
so until the second day, I did the same thing. I don't know what we did, but I had put the rest of the eggs underneath the chickens. He goes, this is unbelievable. I I couldn't hold it anymore and I started laughing. So I had one egg left. So on the egg, I went up to the house and I said, Roz, they showed him the egg and they said, the yolk's on you. He kind of stood there and looked at me for a little bit, but then Carol, which I hope she got over being mad at me, thinking that these chickens are laying the grade eggs. So from that day on, he said that was the best joke that was ever told.
He had just as much fun telling everybody about it.
That was a great. How about when he put your house for sale? That's another one.
Also for sale. So we would go back and forth like this all the time. So between the two of us, we were like two tennis players. He hit the ball in my court and I hit it right back. So that's my story of Roz.
Thank you.
Yay! Good one. Okay. Mr. Hunkler, do you have something?
I'm trying to think of something. but
Some
I-
of us